welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So tell me about yourself. Did you grow up in Sarnia?
I did, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Both my parents have lived here, so yeah, I've grown up here all my life. The only time I've ever left is going to school.
Fair.
The first year of college, I went to Ottawa. So that was definitely not a big change, but a far
I was going to say,
move.
that's like the opposite side of the province. So yeah, that's fair.
And I didn't have a car or anything, so the train was my way back and forth.
I feel that in my soul. Because I went up to York, so I was in the GTA.
Oh, yeah.
And so the train was my only way as well. And oh my God, I don't know about you, but that Wi-Fi is ridiculous.
Oh, terrible.
You can't get anything done.
All you can do is just sit and look out the window, contemplate life.
Unless you're reading, but then I also can't do a lot of reading all at once.
Yeah.
And so my attention span, so yeah, it's just a lot of like Spotify, listening music, contemplating your
Definitely.
life out the window. But you had an even longer ride.
Yeah, I would usually have like a layover in Toronto, so I'd go from Sarnia to Toronto and then Toronto to Ottawa. So at least I got a little break in between.
Yeah, which is nice. But did you
Definitely.
experience Union Station when it was like glorious, or did you experience Union Station during the like construction?
Both.
Oh, the
Yeah.
construction was so bad.
I got the best of both worlds.
Oh, okay, fair.
I also took the train a lot during COVID, so I got to experience that,
Oh,
which was
yeah,
very interesting.
because it was so different during COVID.
And it kind of fluctuated
Yeah.
too. So there was times where it was nice because no one could sit next to you, so you would for sure have a road on your own. And then there was times where it was just full to the brim, but everyone was like mass conscious and everything, so it was just kind of,
You just gotta keep a distance.
no one was comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when it was under construction because I would go and think I could get like McDonald's because they used to have like a cafe there,
Yeah.
and then it was closed. And I remember just like hating my
There's
life.
nothing to do. I think I had like a 5-hour layover one time, and you just contemplate life.
You just do what you do. But that's so funny. That's a weird connection that we got. That's so nice. So what did you take in school?
I started out with business admin marketing, and
Nice.
I finished with just business marketing. So
fair.
didn't really change too much.
Why
but,
no admin? Why'd you drop that?
I just kind of didn't really see a need for it. I think taking a first year of that, I got all the courses that were kind of use to me, like law and
fair.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I liked marketing more. And then when I transferred, I think they didn't really offer what I wanted, so I just stuck with marketing.
Oh, so you transferred. So that's why you said you started out in Ottawa.
Yeah,
so where'd you end up?
Fanshawe, so London.
Nice. Oh, even better. Because
Yeah,
now you're just an hour away.
Yeah, definitely. And it still feels a little long sometimes, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny.
Well, yeah, you feel like you're in a different world when you go to London. And then when I'm in the GTA and you travel just an hour, you don't feel like you're in a different world. It's so funny how that works
It
because
is.
Sarnia's so removed.
Yeah, it's very odd. And it's weird because I talk to people in London, and even like London locals, sometimes they don't know.
They don't know what's Sarnia.
Sarnia, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like I understand Toronto, maybe.
Yeah.
But-
they always give me the, isn't that like Narnia?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh
oh
my
my God,
gosh.
how many times do I have to hear that in my whole life? Yeah. It's just an eye roll, massive
It's
eye roll to
terrible,
that. But at
terrible.
the same time, if I don't hear it, it's almost like I miss it.
Oh, that's
You know
very
what I
true.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I got so used to that. That's kind of fun. I had a fun thing because of my city.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. So in Fanshawe, what about marketing like really like kind of lit you up?
Well, I like that it's a very open field. You can go a lot of different ways, and it complements a lot of different things, especially obviously in the business world. I also like that you can include your creativity into it, especially visually. I'm more of a visual person, like a visual learner.
Okay.
I like expressing myself visually, so words don't come as easy to me, but I also enjoy it. But for
fair.
me, it just opened a lot of doors.
That is so cool. So what do you do now with your marketing degree?
Well, I just finished in December, so right now I'm honestly just kind of taking a break.
Oh, nice.
And seeing how I feel. I feel like you go to school for so long that once you're done, you're kind of just like lost. Like,
Yeah.
not that you're purposeless, but you just kind of feel like, what now? And you feel so
Yeah.
much pressure to immediately like take the next step. But I've had a few friends that have really helped me just learn to like enjoy where you are now, take a break, because I've just been go. I don't even know what I want to do right now.
Hey, that's totally fine. I completely agree with that. I remember when I graduated during COVID though. And so that was a very different experience because all of the connections I made in Toronto were now null and void, and I had to restart my whole life in Sarnia. And I did feel really lost, and I felt like I was going nowhere. I ended up working at like COVID swabbing clinic. I was a receptionist at a place, and I was at a scrapyard. And honestly, like looking back at it now cemented in a marketing field myself, I don't know. I kind of miss those average Joe jobs.
Well, yeah, like right now I currently work at a small PR firm. It's called Blue Point PR.
I know Blue Point PR. I love that.
We're actually rebranding, so by the time this comes out, we'll be known as Mindful Message Co.
Oh, mind your message.
So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with that.
No, but I love that. That's so cool. I'm excited for that change.
Yeah, no, but from there, I'm just doing that for right now. But I also enjoy it back to the kind of regular jobs. I'm also serving right now, too.
Oh, nice.
So I love them both, honestly, pretty equally. It's kind of funny because one of them I, like, went to school for.
Yeah.
But I just like just getting to connect with people in, like, average situations. Like, yeah, serving, sometimes you get a little bit of a bad shift or a bad customer, but you also get the amazing ones, and just you get to like see people living their average life.
Yeah, it's a great way to get connected.
Experiences. Yeah, and it's just a great way to, I feel like, stay grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate when people like to try to say that work is not valued,
no, it's
or that you should always
valuable.
try to move past it. And I'm just like, no, if somebody wants to do that with the rest of their life, do it. And if you don't want to, that's totally fine too, but don't shit on it. You know what I mean? Because it's such a great, fantastic job.
It's always valuable, and if it's not valuable to like your career side, it's valuable to just like your personal growth and development.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you learn a lot when you're a server. It is nuts. One of the hardest jobs you can do.
Yeah, and
so where do you serve? Sorry.
I've served at a few different places. Right now I'm at a banquet center, so I do like weddings and stuff.
Oh, that's so much fun.
And that's super fun. I have not gone a wedding yet that I haven't cried.
Oh yeah, it's hard not
so
to.
Emotional. Yeah. And I always imagine like, if this is my wedding, what am I gonna do?
Oh, okay. Well, what if it was your wedding? What would you do?
Well, I know what I don't want to do. There's a lot of things that you see consistently, and you're like, oh, maybe I won't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, like when the guy takes off like the weird, is it called the gardener?
Oh, I actually haven't seen that. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, my uncle did it at his wedding, and I was scarred for life.
Yeah,
I was like, that's disgusting.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I would do it to the man though, because I think that'd be funny.
Would be so
that'd be really funny. But I don't know if I want to take a break from dancing. You know.
Yeah. Also, in front of all your family and friends, it's a lot. Maybe at like the later after party.
Yeah, maybe it's more of like just like when you have your year anniversary or something. I don't know. Just do it for fun at home.
Yeah. A lot of Ed Sheeran.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. Ed Sheeran probably gets played all the time.
Yeah, he's probably like the number one.
Yeah.
And no offense if you like Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I love me some Ed Sheeran, but he's not my go-to.
No, definitely not.
So you don't like Ed Sheeran?
I don't dislike him. He's just not my favorite.
He's just a big like no.
He's not at my wedding.
No, he's not at the wedding. Ed, you're not invited. You're done. You're toast. Okay.
Unless you want to come for free, then you can come.
Yeah, and
I'm sure people would enjoy that.
They probably would. That's awesome though. So for you, are you like able to like apply your marketing skills then? Because I feel like when you're working in a banquet hall, it's like a lot of like event coordinating as well. And so do you find you're also kind of getting the best of both worlds in that field?
Definitely. And it's actually really funny that you say that, because there's a lot of times where I see opportunities for like, because they're like owned by a family, so it's not like a big chain.
Oh, that's nice.
So I see a lot of opportunities where I'm like, they could totally like market off this, or they could use this to leverage this.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because it obviously like it all intertwines.
Oh, that is so cool, because I feel like that's how I used to do banquet serving too.
Oh, wow.
But I did my degree in theater. So I didn't do a marketing degree, but theater basically is marketing, goes hand in hand. And when I was at the banquet and doing weddings, I'd always say that to myself too. So like keep going with that skill, because it definitely helps in the long run. But for you, like where would you like to go? Like you're serving right now, you're enjoying the moment, but next 5 years, what does it look like for you?
That's always a hard question for me. I've always just taken the next step with how I feel now and what I want to do. And that's kind of what I'm taking a break for right now, is because I really want to see like where I want to be. I haven't quite yet figured it out, but I definitely know I want to do something more in person, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is just online and like social media, which I do enjoy, but I just miss, that's why I like serving like the connection and like the person to person
Oh, I like that. That even that in itself is a great goal to have, because it's very achievable. And I also feel like sometimes when you're in those lost zones of just like, you know, I'm just going to let life come to me, it does come to you. Absolutely it does. Because I was going to go to law school. And then I told myself by the end of July of 2022, I will know exactly what I'm doing, where I'm going. Wow. It's either going to be law school, teacher's college, or I'm going to get a good job that's like my dream job. And then this job at Rebound popped up. So sometimes it's just, if you're in the right place at the right time and it's meant for you, it will come to you. So you can just kick back and relax.
That's always what I've found. I've just been kind of very chill, and things have always just come to me and they've worked out. Hasn't failed me yet, but even if it does, it's always a learning experience.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's a bad thing, because you obviously seem like a hard worker from what I'm hearing and what I'm gathering from you.
I try.
And so if you're a hard worker and your heart's in the right place, I don't think you have to be any other thing than just chill.
Yeah, I like to believe that.
Yeah. So where did you go to school here in Sarnia?
I went to St. Pat's for high school.
Oh, nice.
Elementary school, I went to Sacred Heart.
Oh my God, we have the same background.
Really? Maybe that's why we recognize each other.
I went to St. Pat's.
Oh, I see that
This
now.
is the old St. Pat's.
It's cool. It's like vintage.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It'll be. Sorry. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I am vintage. I'm just the old crusty thing on the wall now. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, I went to the old St. Pat's. So were you at the new St. Pat's?
Yeah. I think that goes without saying. I think
Yeah.
I was like a couple years after they moved. Like I wasn't.
No, you weren't far off.
No, I used to always hear about the old St. Pat's and how much better it was. So.
Yeah, it was. No, I'm just kidding. For me, my little sister goes to St. Pat's and she loves it, so I'll let it slide. But for you, sorry, I got sidetracked with the vintage car. I'm still happy about that. No, I loved it though. It was so funny. So for you in the St. Pat's, did you like get involved with student council? Did you get involved with sports? Like, what'd you do?
Honestly, no, I didn't really get involved as much as I'd like to. I was in I don't know if this is what it was called, but like the environmental club.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they just kind of took initiatives to be more environmentally friendly, like on behalf of the school. It wasn't really like a club though. We didn't really meet after school or anything. It was just kind of like the odd time we'd meet and like see what we could do.
Oh, nice.
And then I was also a part of like the Indigenous club, but
cool.
that was mostly just, there was like 2 people in the club, and I think it was just me and my friend, and she wanted me to join because she was Indigenous.
Oh, fair. So were you an ally in the situation?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Allyship is like more than welcome in those spaces.
Yeah, I just wish because there was a lot of little niche clubs like that were really amazing that no one ever talked about. Like I had to find out through like a friend being a part of it or someone trying to promote it.
Yeah. Well, I can only imagine with that massive size of like students, because back when St. Pat's, it was called the Aboriginal Student Association when I was there, and that's what I was a part of, because I have history in my family. But I'm happy to hear that it continued, but I'm sad to hear that there's not as many people, because we had a really awesome group.
And it was amazing. Like they would take us on field trips and like show us like the history and everything. Like
go to powwows.
Yes, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
I love powwows.
And even just like experience their culture, like just have a little inside. It's something I wouldn't ever be able to experience on my own.
Yeah. So. Oh, that's fantastic then. And again, I'm so happy your friend pulled you into it, because it's honestly such a beautiful thing to experience and witness.
It is.
But that is so cool. So for you, not being as involved in like St. Pat's life, did you get more involved in college and university then?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like part of the reason I wasn't involved at St. Pat's is because I worked a lot.
Oh, you were one of those teenagers.
Yeah, I was working my little butt off.
Hey, that's fair. You got to get your bag.
That's very true. And I saved a lot for college, so it helped me in the long run.
So you were smart.
Kind of. I did also spend a lot, but...
yeah, but if you got it, it's fine.
Well, and you're like in high school, you got to buy yourself a little present.
Yeah, for sure. So if you can go back to that time period, what would you tell yourself right now?
I would definitely tell myself to get involved more. I would tell myself to focus more on your grades and not work, but also focus on the then and now and not trying to just work to make money for the future or like be so stressed about what you think you want to do. I just feel like I focused a lot about the future or the past, never really on the present. And that's still something I kind of struggle with. I
think it's very difficult for young people to do that. Even myself, like I struggle with that. I'm still under 30 though, so I'm not quite as vintage as what people think. But but I definitely still struggle with that as well. And I find that it's very difficult in high school though, because suddenly you hit puberty and then you're launched into this new environment. You're launched into this new way of learning, this new like kind of community and culture and society. And then you're told within 4 years, you have to know exactly what you want to do with your future, where you're going to go, and how you're going to do it. I feel like that's just setting up so many people for failure.
It's so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's so much pressure, I feel like it almost blinds you a little bit.
It does.
And I even remember like in grade 8 before we went to high school, it was, okay, what career do you want and what school, like at university, college, like what schools do you have to do to get to that career?
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to know this? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of pressure.
Well, and then you also get judged for the fluidity in what you choose. Because I remember, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a bug scientist. Don't know why, but I wish I went down that path.
That'd be really cool.
It'd be so cool. But then I went into, I really want to be a teacher, but then I really want to be a famous actor and writer. And then so I went to high school with that mode. And then quickly I realized my marketing skills and my communication skills, and I was like, oh, well, like, theater is now what I really want to do, so I'll become a drama teacher. And then I went into it, hated teaching drama in high schools, and so I dropped out of teachers college, and then I kind of was like, well, what do I do now? Went to my master's, and then now I'm doing marketing for a nonprofit. It's just fluid, and I feel like in high school they don't prepare you for the fluidity of it.
No, and they almost like discriminate against it.
Yeah.
They want you to know, like, have everything step by step.
Why do you think that is?
That's a great question. I think it's honestly to make it seem as though everything is successful. Like high school, they're teaching you right because you know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. But I don't think that equals success. I think it's amazing if you know what you want to do, like especially from a young age. But I think it's also amazing to be able to change within your career and grow and realize you don't like things or maybe you're not the best at it. It's just, it's amazing to just continually change.
And you're gonna change, like you said. And I love, there's this one quote, I'm gonna butcher it, absolutely butcher it, but it's like, it's about women, and it's that I will embrace my future self because I've already been thousands of versions of who I am. Something like that. I don't know. My mom will yell at the screen. She knows the quote. But I love that idea because when I look at the past even 10 years ago I was graduating high school. And then now I'm here and I'm like, I feel like I've been 100 different people and I've been okay with that. But I feel like a lot of people are being taught how to actually cope and how to understand that you changing your mind, you changing your opinion, changing the way you think, see the world is okay.
And it doesn't mean failure, it just means change.
Yeah, exactly. I love failure personally because I'm like, if I fail, that means I can put this project down and go pick up another one.
True.
That's how I see it because I'm like, okay, I tried this. I've started so many companies. I've started so many YouTube channels. I've started so many projects, and it's just, if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you have to be okay with leaving it behind. Is that something that you are currently experiencing, or like you've already learned that, mastered that?
It's something that I'm like continually learning. I definitely have experienced it, but I don't think I've completely like accepted it or become super comfortable with it. It's definitely something I want to grow within.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable to be in that state.
But it's good to make yourself uncomfortable, and that's something I'm trying to become comfortable with.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult. I feel like I see people on social media always like preaching about it and like being like, you got to get comfortable with it. And it's like, okay, but let's unpack that. Maybe there's some people who have, trauma from their childhood that is like kind of a barrier to that, or maybe there's financial barriers, or maybe there is cultural barriers because you're marginalized. There's so much more to the world than just let's just get uncomfortable and dump right into it and just whatever. It's like, okay, well, how about therapy first and let's figure this out. But that's really cool that you are trying to do it. I think that's all that matters in life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So for you, looking back on these last 10 years of life, what's the greatest thing you've learned?
Wow. I think honestly the greatest thing I've learned is the value of feedback, in that just because feedback may be constructive, it's not necessarily negative.
Yeah.
And it also is not always positive. Like feedback can always go both ways. So it's very subjective to whoever's giving it to you. Usually it's within the best interest of you, but sometimes it's also not.
Yeah.
So I've learned to take feedback and consider it and not dwell on it, but like think about it. Try to incorporate it into what I'm doing, and if I find that it's working well, I'll keep with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that like I have a very different experience with constructive feedback just because of my theater background. So in grade 8 till like now, I was constantly getting told what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong. So I got really comfortable with it really, really quick in my life. But I find that in a professional sense, it is very difficult to get that feedback and then try to digest it and then not take it personally.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people's egos kind of arise. And so what do you do to kind of regulate yourself to make sure that you're accepting the feedback and you can digest it properly?
Well, I always just keep grounded with like hobbies and stuff. I like to, if I feel like I've had a bad day and maybe it's because of feedback or not, I like to just do what I know calms me and keeps me grounded and just reassures me that not every day is going to be amazing, but I'm still trying my best, doing a good job.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what, that's actually really funny because in emergency situations, they always say the first step is to calm yourself. And I think a lot of people don't apply that to like everyday life. It's just like, well, if someone's bleeding out, gotta calm myself and then I'll go in. But it's everything in life, because if you come at it at a reactive state, like you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to navigate your life.
And then you're gonna look back on it and think, if I like calmed down and reflected on it, I may have handled it differently.
Oh, I have so many of those moments.
Yeah,
like,
I think we all
Yeah, I'm quick to temper sometimes and I'm like, oh God, just calm down. But when's the last time that you just kind of caught yourself in that cycle?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. Probably just a lot with education. You know, you hand in an assignment that you've worked really hard on, or you think you deserve a higher grade for, and then you get a lower grade, or you get feedback that you couldn't have imagined like you would get.
Yeah.
You just need to take a minute.
I feel that. Every single assignment I worked so hard on, I'd get like a C or a B.
Exactly.
And then everything I did last minute, A+.
I find that's always how
I'm
it
like,
goes.
y'all are
It's so
dicks.
odd.
Like, what are you doing? How are you reading this and thinking it's good? But I think that there is also a rose-tinted glasses when that happens. When you work so hard on an assignment, you can't see any other angle. So when someone comes in and just like pops your little bubble,
like shatters. Yeah, pops your bubble.
I've been practicing like not being attached to outcomes. That's something that I've like brought into my life just recently. And it's the idea, I think it's Oprah that says it. I know there's a lot of controversy around Oprah, so please don't cancel me for saying Oprah's name. But at the same time, I love this quote, is that she says that if you want something, you always have to like imagine yourself having it, picture it, have that vision clear, and then let it go. And if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, and just not being attached to the outcome. Because as soon as you attach yourself to outcome, it's that rose-tinted glasses, blinders up, that you can't see any other option. So I love that, like...
I love that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love that you're kind of on that track, too. Because I feel like I hear that in the way that you're speaking about it. So I like that. But yeah, I'm trying not to get attached to outcomes.
It's hard, though.
It is so hard.
Especially when you put like all your effort into something, or you spend a long time working on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's very, very difficult, especially like when you get your hopes up. You know, like just recently, I got into a play called The Wolves. I'm very, very excited about it. And my little sister auditioned with me. And it was like, awesome. Yeah, and she's in high school. And I was so, so excited because I was like, finally we get to share the stage. Finally we're going to be like together doing this activity. And then unfortunately she had to drop out of the play. So she got in, both and I did, we like cried on the phone, we had that moment, and then she didn't get in, and everyone was so worried about my mental health. Everyone was like, oh my God, like my fiance Nick was like, oh, like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm good. Because if it was meant to happen, it would happen. And I don't attach myself to outcomes anymore. I had that moment regardless.
And I live with that a lot. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to...
I think a lot of people get uncomfortable with that because I feel like there's a lot of religious connotations with like everything happens for a reason, and then some like toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Do you face a lot of toxic positivity in your life?
I'm not exactly sure if I know what toxic positivity
That is a great... Actually, that's a great point. So toxic positivity is like when you're going through a really big struggle, like you're grieving a loss, or like you're going through anxiety episodes or depression episodes, and someone's trying to just be like, but it's gonna get better, everything's gonna be great, everything's gonna be awesome, you just keep your mindset up, just keep your energy up, and not sitting in that. Not everything has to be positive. No. Some things are just negative, some things are just shitty, and sometimes you just have to go through things to get to the other side. But let's not rush that process.
No.
So toxic positivity is kind of that toxic positive forcings that happen, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Do you face that a lot in life?
I don't say I do. I feel like
good.
I'm pretty independent, especially within like the decisions I make and the things that I go through. Unless it kind of involves people I'm with, I don't really include them unless I feel like I need their advice or their opinion. So I'm grateful that it doesn't really, unless I do it upon myself, which I try not to.
Yeah.
I'm usually very like, if something's negative, I tend to fully embrace the negativity. I just kind of am like, this sucks. But it's okay, because you got to think like everything that's ever sucked or everything that you've hated going through, it's all in the past.
Yeah.
And,
Gen Z, man.
It's the same way with positive things.
They got the cheat codes. That's amazing. I actually love that. So for you, did you always just be like that? Like in elementary, high school? Like, did you just grow up like that?
No, definitely not. I definitely have gone through like fluctuations. I've looked past, I would say like I look back at my high school self and I wish I could just like sit down and have a talk with her.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if it was like leaving so young to go to school. Like when I went to Ottawa, I only came home like a couple times for like occasions. So maybe it was just being really independent. It was also COVID, so everyone was kind of isolated.
Yeah, fair.
So I feel like I did a lot of self-improvement there, but it was also just the things I've been through. Like I just have learned, like you just gotta let some things go. You gotta embrace some things, good, bad.
Absolutely. So what's been your greatest teacher then?
That's a great question. I would say just the people in my life. Like I've, like my family, my parents are divorced, so each of them has kind of gone on their different journeys since they divorced when I was younger.
Absolutely.
And just watching them both come from like a darker place and going through like good and bad times, but like they're both happy now. And even if they weren't happy now, like you go through the good, you go through the bad.
Yeah.
I guess just watching other people from experience has really helped me.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think that relationships like that
Yeah.
really do like teach you so much. It really does. And like I'm a very big like learn by relationship person, and interpersonal skills are like the most important thing you can have. But going through divorce, I feel like kind of disrupts that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was really young, so it was kind of how I grew up. Like, I only knew that. It's like I barely remember when they were together. But it was also something where it was tough at first, but it definitely created such, like, a room for positivity. Because without that, there was not a lot.
I feel that. Like, my mom and dad are divorced as well, and so they were divorced when I was 2. So I had a very different experience too, being so young. I don't remember my parents together, like not even in the slightest, which I'm very thankful for in retrospect.
It's interesting because you think of it whether or not it would be worse or better, which isn't like a way to look at it, but it's just interesting because it's like, it's hard to think like, oh, I would never see my parents together, but then it's also hard to think like, it would be hard to see your parents together for a super long time and then they...
Man,
I can't imagine.
I was raised as like the lucky one of my sisters because I was the youngest and because I didn't remember anything. But then that doesn't mean there's not pain there.
No, definitely
You know
not.
what I mean? And
it's
so
just...
it is different. But I do think in my experience, going through not knowing was a little bit to my benefit, to be honest. So I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so this is the last question for the episode.
That went by so quick.
Yeah, I know, right? I really enjoyed this conversation. You
Me
are
as well.
fascinating.
Oh,
I love
thank
it.
you.
You're very, very intelligent. Like really, really intelligent. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much.
sharing everything you've done.
Thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome.
But before we go,
yes,
is there any advice you'd give to the folks watching or listening at home?
Well, I guess it's just kind of gone along with what we've said, but I would always take feedback with a conscious mind. I would always include it in what I do, whether or not you think it's useful to you or not. And I'd always just embrace whatever situation you're in. If you're in a negative situation, I'm sorry to hear that, but just take a minute and feel it. Whether it's good or bad, just feel it all. You'll get through it.
Yeah, I love it.
That's all I have to say.
Feel it.
Feel it.
Get that tattooed. Feel it.
Across the
thank you
forehead.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, truly.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.